And then let's find a comfortable seat. So I've got my trusty folded blanket here ready to go. Maybe you're also seated up on a folded blanket. Maybe you're in a chair. It doesn't matter. Wherever you found yourself, as long as it's comfortable, as long as it feels sustainable, then you're in the right place, right? We don't ever want to take up a seated position in the beginning of class. It feels like, oh, I can't hang. And one of the things I've been playing with, at least with some of my students here in Maine, is if sitting cross-legged is like almost there, it's almost comfortable, but not quite, taking blocks underneath your knees can sometimes give you that extra little bit of support that makes the cross-legged position feel sustainable. Now, of course, if it's bothering the knees or anything like that, don't suffer, but you might experiment and see what works for you. And then, as we often do, heels of the hands to the upper thighs, a little press down, lean forward, getting into the groins, into the glute muscles, the lower back. You might even feel this a little bit in the shoulders and the wrists. There's no wrong answer as far as where you feel something, right? You're in your own body, you're experiencing it however it happens. And then let's take it side to side. Oh, familiar, right? We do the same thing every time we sit down. That tells the body it is time for the practice, right? So I don't remember which tradition I learned that from. It might be Ashtanga, but coming to the mat and giving yourself a similar set of actions, at least part way, gives your body this routine that tells us what is about to come, right? It's good. All right, coming back to neutral a couple of times, running the heel of the hand from the hip towards the knee, ironing out the quadricep muscle, elongating the thigh. You're in charge of how much, how little pressure you put. Nice. And then hands sliding over the kneecaps. So even if you're seated in a chair, you can hold on to your knees or your thighs, lifting up, using that resistance of the arms to help you get nice and long. Tailbone is heavy, shoulder blades down the back. Reach through the base of the skull. Maybe you close the eyes here and we'll start to rotate the torso. Going around in a circle, we're still holding on to the legs. Going around a few times in one direction. And then as you feel ready on an exhalation, change directions. So take this a few times, changing directions when it feels interesting. Try not to think about it too much. Use your instincts. What happens when we get the brain out of it? Right? The brain thinks it knows so much. Change directions one more time. And then start to make the circle smaller. It's a slow process. Start to make the circle smaller and smaller and smaller until eventually the movement stops entirely. Externally, at least, maybe internally, you're still feeling that ghost, that residue of circling. And then sliding the hands back on the thighs. Palms are still down, it's very chilly. Tailbone heavy, base of skull lifting. Can you get as tall as possible? How tall can you get? There's a question. How tall are we able to elongate into? And your height might be, whatever. Internally, you can feel as tall as you need to be. Right? So really try to lengthen. Actively using the musculature of the torso to find another inch. And then navel back, Pubic bone to belly button, find that engagement. Lift and spread the collarbones, letting the arm bones hang heavy, but the heavy arm bones aren't dragging down your height, right? So you're resisting lifting the skull away from the backs of the shoulders as the backs of the shoulders drop down. And then can you relax the throat? Maybe you need to swallow. Sometimes the act of swallowing helps us to release tension, or it often can highlight that there's tension there. And then open and close the mouth a few times, like a goldfish. Releasing tension from the jaw, from the tongue, from the roof of the mouth. And bringing the lips to touch. Lips come to touch, but the bottom jaw is dropping away from the top jaw. The tongue is resting in the floor of the mouth. Cheekbones are spreading. Eyes are relaxed. Gorgeous. And spread the eyebrows. Those eyebrows constantly trying to join one another in the center of your forehead. Don't let it happen. And then smooth out the skin of your forehead. Relax the skin at the temples. Soften the inner ears. And come to the breath. Long, full, steady inhalations. Complete, soft, sweet exhalations. Can you stay with the breath? I get that the mind wants to do what the mind wants to do. Excuse me. I get that the mind wants to be interested in things, right? My husband was saying this the other day. He's like, what happens? Like, when was the last time you let yourself be bored? And what he meant by that is, what was the last time you kind of let go of everything and just allowed yourself to be with something so simple as the breath? If this was your whole practice this morning, just the sitting and breathing, it would be time well spent. All right, from here, let's take the hands together in front of the heart, palm against palm, fingers elongated. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones. We're preparing for sound. I'm going to invite you to chant the sound of Om 3 times, and then we'll invocate. Go ahead, exhale fully, letting go of all the breath you currently have. Then inhale fully to begin. Om Sahana Bhavatu, Sahanao Bhunaktu, Saha Viryam Karavavahai, Tejasvina Vaditamastu, Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Nice. Take a deep breath. As you exhale, let the chin come towards the chest. As always, giving an opportunity to reflect internally. What do you need? What's there? What's necessary for your body, your mind, your spirit? Is anything bubbling up? And then releasing the hands to the lap, slowly flutter the eyelids open, taking in form and color and space. As you inhale, lift the gaze, and as we often do, look wide if you have windows on the sides of your room or in front of you or even behind you. Look out a window if you have it. If not, just look wide. Don't be quick to look into the camera, but instead get spacious instead of narrow. And then coming back, we can unpack the legs. We're going to start out on the back body. So I'm making a little room around myself here. Coming to lay down, have the support under the head. And come to lay down with the knees bent, feet flat on the floor. There's any little movements that need to happen once you get here. Might be a little rocking back and forth on the pelvis. Might be taking the head in opposition. There's no rules. Just give yourself a moment or two to get situated here on the earth. We're going to do what I've often heard called the morning stretch, quote unquote, like the big morning stretch, something similar to what you might do in your bed first thing in the morning when you wake up. So we're going to extend the legs onto the earth. They can be wider than hips distance, whatever feels comfortable. And then we're going to reach the arms overhead, and I like to hold on to one wrist. We're going to do this a few times, so hold on to one wrist. And then as you inhale, you're stretching the legs away, stretching the arms away. If your shoulder's feeling a little cranky, you might be going something straight up towards the sky. Others, you're going overhead as far as feels good. And then I like to pretend I'm pressing, well, it's almost like I'm pretending I'm walking, but what I'm really doing is I'm pressing one foot towards the wall in front of me, then the other foot in front of me, right? So pressing, it's almost like you're kind of stomping your feet, but you're laying on your back. Beautiful. And then on an exhalation, release the arms by the sides of your body, bend the knees again, and permission to move however it feels necessary. I'm drawn to take my knees and my head a little bit in opposition. You might be drawn just to sit quietly. Whatever works. Intuitive movement, right? We never do that. So important. Gorgeous. And then we're going to do the second side. So both legs extend, arms up towards the sky or overhead. Hold on to the other wrist. And then on an inhale, oh, you might even yawn. Stretching out and stomping the feet towards the wall in front of you, right? It's like you're pushing one foot away as you draw the other leg up into your hip socket, and then vice versa. Oh, definitely a yawning experience. Nice. This time as you exhale, I want you to draw the knees into your chest, wrap your arms around them. Now everyone's going to rock a little side to side, letting go of tension through the back body. So just some morning action, right? These bodies perhaps just coming from slumber. It feels nice to kind of work into it in a way that feels, I keep coming back to the word instinctual, right? Like that feeling of like, what does your body want to do? All right, from here, feet are going to come to the floor, and we're going to work with tailor's pose right off the bat. So some of you might need a strap nearby. We're going to take the right knee towards you, turn the right knee out to the right, and then rest your right ankle on top of your left thigh towards the left knee. Now we've got lots of options here depending on how your body is feeling. We haven't really done anything for the hips here. It's kind of our first foray into the hip. Option one is to take your hand or a block and press that right thigh away. For some folks, that's going to feel like enough. Others, you're going to draw the left thigh towards you, resisting the right knee away. And this is where the strap can come in handy. Because if when you interlace your hands behind the back of your left thigh, all of a sudden the head, neck, and shoulders peel off the floor, well, that's a really good indication that you need a little more length for your arms, and that's what you get with the strap. And so I'm squaring my hips wherever I've ended up towards the wall in front of me. Both feet are lightly flexed. And then I can slowly move the legs from side to side. Really go slowly because we're looking for sensation to hang out in. And it's very possible that you're going to find sensation somewhere along this journey. So give yourself a chance to really explore. In my body, it's when I take my legs to the left. Got the right ankle on top. When I take the legs to the left, I feel a little more extra something in the back of the right hip, the outer right hip. Your experience may vary. Remember, there's no real wrong answers here. Gorgeous. Then inhaling to come back to neutral. Exhale, feet come to the floor. And then again, another opportunity. Any little intuitive actions. Maybe you're picking up and replacing the pelvis. Maybe you're rocking the knees from side to side. Maybe the head's going in opposition. Maybe you're doing something I'm not describing. That's fine. Oh, maybe another yawn comes. Oh, what's that about? All right, and then second side. So coming back to neutral if you've strayed somewhere. We're going to pick that left foot off the floor, place the outer left ankle on top of the right knee, right below the kneecap. And then maybe you're using a block or your hands to simply press that left thigh away. Or maybe you're gathering the right knee towards you, interlacing your hands, or using the strap behind the back of the right thigh. Shoulder blades are down the back. Back of the neck is nice and long. And then we're squaring the hips towards the wall in front of us. For many of us, that means the outer left hip needs to move away from the outer left rib cage. It's not a huge movement, right? But you just see where you're at. Both feet lightly flexed. And then perhaps there's that little bit of action, taking the legs from side to side so slowly. Why slow? Well, because if you go fast, these muscles, some of them very small, right? So if you go fast, you end up just plowing over them. It's very easy to lose track. Soften the jaw, the teeth, the tongue. Draw the chin towards the chest, wherever you are. Then inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, release the feet and the arms to the floor. Anything that feels good here. And maybe this time it's just laying still. Maybe for you there's some action that needs to happen. Then we're going to work with, they're called dead bugs. I don't love the name of them, but I think they're really useful for building stability in the torso. And one of the things I find is when the weather gets icy, we need more stability because the ground itself can't offer us the same stability we're used to. So we're going to come to this position where the knees are over the hips, the knees are bent at 90 degrees, and then we're going to lift our arms up towards the sky and bend our elbows at 90 degrees. And this is why I think it's called a dead bug, right? Because you look a little bit like a dead bug on its back. Beautiful. I want you to strongly draw the navel towards the spine, the pubic bone towards the belly button. And for some of us, just holding this position feels like enough work, right? We're going to keep the knees and the elbows bent for now. You're going to inhale here. And then as you exhale, let's start with the legs. You'll take your right heel down to the floor. Inhale, pick the right heel back up. Exhale, left heel comes to the floor. Inhale, pick the leg back up. So we're just moving the legs for now. Navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. We're keeping the knees bent at 90 degrees, so we're trying to move just from the hip. Navel to spine, don't lose that. Maybe your heel doesn't come all the way to the floor. Maybe you're just moving a few inches. That would be fine. And then as you feel ready, you add the arms. So the arms are going to stay bent at 90 degrees, And as the right heel comes to the floor, the left fingertips come to the floor. Then you come back to neutral. Then you do the second side. And again, you might not actually be touching the floor. You're just moving in that direction, trying to keep the elbows and the knees bent at 90 degrees. Opposite leg to arm. Nice, navel to spine. Don't lose that connection. Keep the belly going back, back, back. And then if it's interesting to you, you can start tapping the heel or the fingers a little further away. So now maybe it's like you're extending the leg and the arm. And it might not fully extend, right? It might just go a little bit. Trying to exhale as you go out, inhale as you come back in. Exhale as you go out, inhale as you go back in. And then if it's really going well, you want to go for it, you could extend opposite arm, opposite leg, coming back to neutral, extend opposite arm, opposite leg, coming back to neutral. Does not matter if your fingertips come to the floor. Maybe you're at an angle, especially for protecting shoulders. Nice. Keep the breath going. Navel to spine. Don't lose it. I know I'm a broken record because I can feel myself losing that connection. Right? As I go, I can be like, oh, there it goes. I have to recommit. Recommit. Let's do one more either side. Nice. And then it's going to feel real nice to hug the knees into the chest. Rock a little side to side. Good job. Building a little heat. It's okay. Heat is good in the body. Let's take the feet to the floor as wide as the mat, arms out to the side, knees and head in opposition. Take your time, right? Those, I don't know, I'll have to find the Sanskrit for dead bugs, but that action uses a lot of quadricep muscle as well as core muscle. So if you're feeling it in the tops of your thighs, you're not alone, and we will do something to stretch them out here in a moment, but we've got one more little act of business here on our back body, and we need a block. So everyone's going to take a block. You might have to sit up to do it. But you're going to take the block and you're going to place it towards the end of your mat, because we're going to take the legs into Virabhadrasana on top of that block. So the feet come on top of that block. I've got it lengthwise down the mat so that the long edges of the block are parallel to the long edges of the mat so that my feet fit on it. Right? And if you have very large feet like I do, you might have to use a second block, but maybe not. Soles of the feet are together, and then I want you to let your knees drop down as far as they can, just to feel where that is. And then I want you to back off about 10-15%. So now our knees, they're not all the way up towards the sky, they're not all the way down as far as we can go, they're somewhere in between. They're in that halfway point, okay? From here, we're going to interlace our hands behind the back of the head. Now, if that was uncomfortable for my shoulder, I could take my strap and make a little head cradle with the strap behind the back of the occiput. Mine ends up going over my ears. My elbows are bent at 90 degrees again, but now I'm holding onto the strap behind my head. But if your shoulders are okay, you don't need that extra support. You don't need to use the strap. So I'm interlacing my hands behind the back of my head, or I'm using that strap. If I've got the fingers behind the head, the elbows are open wide. Nice. Back of the neck nice and long. I'm drawing pubic bone to belly button, navel to spine, so my tailbone is lengthening. It's almost like you're tilting the tailbone towards the sky, but not quite. And then we're not going to crunch up forward. So at no point are we going towards the wall in front of us. Instead, we're going to go straight up towards the ceiling. So we inhale here. Then as we exhale, it's like someone has a big pancake spatula and they're just lifting us straight up towards the sky, right? So the torso, the head come up, the head is heavy and the hands are the strap. Then we inhale to come back down. Exhaling, lifting the torso straight up. Head is very heavy. Don't crank the neck. Inhale to come down. As a matter of fact, another option that I like to do, and you could try this too, is to take the finger pads. Instead of interlacing the fingers behind the back of the head, like you're playing piano, the tips of the fingers come behind the back of the head instead. It's just a nice little option. And then exhaling, we go straight up. Inhaling to come down. Exhale to go straight up. Inhaling to go down. Now you can continue here, or if you'd like to add on, when you exhale to go straight up, you lift your feet off the block a half an inch. Then you inhale and everything comes down. Exhale, lift up. Inhale, come down. Try to keep that navel to spine, pubic bone to belly button. I know. Why does she keep saying that? Because I keep losing it too. Right? Pressing the soles of the feet together. It's not a big action. It does not take a lot to do a lot. Remember, you're not trying to bring the feet and the chest towards each other. You're just trying to lift straight up towards the sky. Yes, head is heavy. Don't crank the neck. Let's do 2 more. You've got that. Nice. Last one. Beautiful. And then stretch the legs out. The block can stay where it is. Stretch the arms overhead, just like we were doing before, but now both hands are reaching, palms of the hands facing the sky, fingertips elongated, reach through the heels, get super long. And then exhale, draw the knees into the chest, give yourself a hug, a little rocking, side to side. Well done. Hopefully you're not feeling chilled anymore. Let's push our block out of the way, roll all the way over. We're actually going to come onto our bellies. I promised a quadricep stretch and I'm going to deliver. Let's take our blankets, if you need them, horizontally across our mat so we've got a nice surface for the pelvis. If you know that it's challenging for you to grab the ankle in Virabhadrasana, you might have a strap nearby. We're coming to lay down on the belly, pelvis smack dab in the middle there. We can rock the pelvis a little side to side, releasing tension through the glutes, through the belly, through the thighs. Head is resting on the hands. And then we're just breathing here. Taking a few moments to let everything settle in. Nice, and then we can get into it. So practice pressing the pelvis down. So we want to press the pubic bone into the earth. That lengthens the tailbone, so there's a little press of the pubic bone down. Nice. Then maintaining that any amount, bend the left knee. See if you could sweep your left hand back to catch the ankle. Again, if you need to use the strap, you use the strap. Head could keep resting on the right forearm, or you can press the right forearm down to lift the torso, squaring the shoulders towards the wall in front of you. And then we're still pressing pubic bone into the earth as we draw the left heel towards the left buttock. Right, so we're actively pressing the pelvis down. Again, if there's any strain in the head or neck, you could absolutely rest the forehead on the right forearm. Otherwise, you're pressing down to lift. Keep the shoulders squared wherever you are. Keep breathing into the front of the thigh. Nice, and then slowly, slowly we switch sides. Left leg lowers. Left forearm comes in front, right knee bends, we send the right hand back. Maybe you're using the strap. And then it's heel to buttock, buttock to floor, pubic bone down. Nice. And then resting the forehead or pressing down, lifting the torso, squaring the shoulders. Breathing here. And then exhale to release. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Keep the legs long. So we're going to work a little bit with Bhujangasana, cobra pose. And again, it starts with that pressing of the pubic bone down. We've got the hands underneath the shoulders, so your head is hovering just a few inches off the mat. I want you to see, could you think about drawing your belly up away from the floor? Any amount. It's a tiny action, maybe nothing at all happens. And then we're pressing into the palms of the hands. Now, depending on how it feels in your body, you might still have the elbows slightly bent. Others, the back body's fine with it. You can extend the arms fully, right? So you're either kind of in a baby cobra with the elbow slightly bent or full Bhujangasana. Lifting the belly away from the floor, pressing the pubic bone down at the same time. And then we're pushing back into Balasana, child's pose. I like to walk my knees onto the blanket, and you know I'm a fan of the block underneath the forehead, so take it. Why not get a forehead massage? Right, so hips to heels. If you need to take support between the thigh and the calf because the knees are cranky, do it. Maybe your child's pose is sitting in a chair, folding forward onto the surface that's available in front of you. It doesn't have to be on the knees, but find some way to rest the head on a surface. I like the block. And then you can rock the head a little side to side to get that bit of massage through the eyebrow. Right? I always am amazed at how much my body needs an eyebrow massage. Like, it's the best massage you didn't know you needed. Gorgeous. Bringing the head back to neutral. Take 3 deep breaths here. And then push yourself back into table pose. Let's stretch the legs back one at a time. Take the left leg back, tuck the toes under one at a time. Really stretch the toes. Let that be the event first. Stretching each toe and then reaching back through the heel. Yes. Opening the back of the leg. And then perhaps you press so much that that right knee just floats directly into the belly. The right knee gets super light. Yes, and then right knee down, left knee down, second side. Right leg goes back, and the first action is to stretch the toes. Give the toes an opportunity, one at a time, down the line. Then pushing into the sole of the foot, the heel bone. Hugging the muscles to the bone now. Could you lift that left knee? Even if it's just a ½ an inch. Yes, lift it up into the belly. And then exhale, both knees down. We're going to downward facing dog. So if you know you need an alternative pose, hands on a counter, hands on the bed, whatever, please feel free to take it. Otherwise, you're planting your hands well, index fingers parallel, heels of the hands directly underneath the shoulders or slightly wider depending on what you need. Then tucking the toes under, lift the hips up and back, push the floor away. And as we've been doing in a few other places this morning, give yourself time for intuitive movement. Maybe you're bending one knee, stretching the other heel. Maybe you're swiveling the hips a little bit. What do you need here to get the most out of your dog pose? Right? What is the body asking for? Can be such a curious exploration. Maybe you're moving the head a little yes, a little no. And then when you feel ready, so this is on you, your timing is your own, you'll go to standing forward bend. But that's when you feel ready. So you might be in dog pose for another few breaths. When you get to your Uttanasana, standing forward bend, I want you to be very particular about where the feet are. Make sure they're your hips distance apart. And then strongly pressing through big toe ball mound, outer heel, especially the outer heel, lets those inner arches lift. And then are you locking the knees? Are you locking the knees? Could you get rid of that lock? So take a little slack in the knee, not in the leg, so the muscles are still hugging to the bone, but we have just a little bit of relief in the knee as we let the torso drape. Especially from the base of the skull, let go, let go. Nice, and then thumbs in the hip creases, hook the hips back to lengthen the spine, press into the feet. Inhale to get long. Exhale, navel to spine, come to standing. Nice. Roll the shoulders. Forward, up, back, and down. Forward, up, back, and down. And then let's do a little shoulder rehab while we're here. So, similar to what we were doing with the morning stretch, holding onto the wrist, but we're going to do it behind us. We've done it before. I like to take my legs a little wider than hips distance. You take one arm behind you. Let's start with the right arm. So the right arm is behind me. My palm of hand is facing away from my glute muscles. I'm holding on to the right wrist with the left hand. And then I'm diagonally drawing it down towards the outer left side of my mat as I start to tilt my head to the left. Now, it's very different depending on the angle of the chin. So feel free to play around here. Maybe the chin tilts down towards the collarbone. Maybe it lifts up towards the sky. Again, don't lock the knee. The legs are stable, but the knees are not rigid. Taking in a few breaths here. Really looking for sensation. And then exhale to release. Just take a moment to notice, maybe even roll the shoulders forward, up, back, and down again to feel the difference between the two sides. Nice, and then we'll do that much to the second side. So now the left hand is behind, palm facing away. And then we're stretching the left arm, using that right hand to draw it towards the outer right side of the mat as we tilt our head to the right. Any little actions that have to happen, you're exploring. Playing around here. Breathing. And then exhale to release. Arms by the sides again. Just take a moment to notice. Maybe that rolling of the shoulders forward, up, back, and down really feels like it helps. All right. From here, find Tadasana in the center of your mat. Big toe ball mound, outer heel. Feet are hips distance apart. Pressing down, lengthen the arms by the sides of the body, turn the palms of the hands slightly forward. Now remember, when we were seated earlier, we were thinking about strongly lengthening the spine, right? So you're directing the tailbone towards the center of the earth as you think about lifting from the base of the skull, crown of the head reaching up. Doesn't matter how tall you are, try to get taller. Nice, but don't lose the feet. We're strongly pressing. Gorgeous. Navel back. Yes. Then fingertips come to touch over the shelf of the heart. Well inhaling. Bend the knees and either walk or jump your feet apart, extending the arms out to the sides of the room. Yes. So getting really wide with the arms. Maintain the width in the collarbones and take the hands to the hips. So we're going to turn the right leg out from the root, and we're turning the left toes in slightly. That means the left heel has to kick out. Ideally, your front heel is in line with the arch of your back foot, but if you need some other configuration for comfort or ease, please take it. And then bend the right knee and lift the right heel to let that leg reorient itself, and then plant the heel and straighten the leg. Okay, here's where we're going. You're going to inhale that right arm up and back, and then exhale, take that right arm right to the horizon line. Nice. And then we're going to inhale this left arm up, around, and out. So now we're reaching out, we're getting that width again. And then on an exhalation, I want you to bend that right knee. So now we're in Warrior II, Virabhadrasana II. Now, if you're like most people, and I want you to notice this, your belly started, your navel, your abdominal wall started to pitch forward. So I want you to find that action we did on the floor of belly button back, pubic bone to belly button. So we're lifting and scooping up. And then turning the head to look back at that left arm. Look at the left middle finger. Make sure the arm is right at shoulder height. And then turn the head to look back at that right arm. Now we're going to keep the legs where they are. We're going to get a little movement here. So listen carefully. You're going to inhale, let the left hand come to the left leg, reach the right arm up towards the sky. Then as you exhale, right elbow comes to right thigh, left arm comes overhead. Inhaling, left arm to left thigh, right arm goes up. Exhale, right elbow to right thigh, left arm goes over. So find your own rhythm with this. The legs stay super stable. We're moving from the core, right? Take your time. Might even take a couple of breaths to get where you're going. That's fine. Nice. Yeah, we're just playing around. Don't take it seriously. Next time the right elbow comes to the right thigh, left arm comes over the ear, pause. Outer left foot pressing down, right knee bent, and then follow the length of your left arm to find the left middle finger. Gorgeous, navel to spine. And then could you keep the legs where they are as we come back to Virabhadrasana II? So you're going to let this left arm come down around in front of you. Then it's going to reach up to the back. You're going to extend the right arm, turn to look over the left fingertips, turn to look over the right fingertips, and then inhale, extend the front leg, turn the feet parallel. Hands come to the hips, take a moment. Keep the legs wide. We're going to go right to the other side. Right heel kicks out, left toes turn out. We're looking down, making sure, are our legs where we think they are? You'd be surprised. Bend the right knee, or bend the left knee, let the left heel lift. That's going to help your leg reorganize. Then plant that left heel and straighten the leg for now. Square your hips towards the front long edge of your mat. Beautiful. And then on an exhale, let's re-bend that left knee. Gorgeous. Inhale the left arm up and over. Gorgeous. Exhale, take that left arm to shoulder height. Then we inhale that right arm around and up and out to the side. So here we are. We're back in Virabhadrasana II on the other side. Turn the head to look back at those right fingertips. Turn the head to look back at the left fingertips. Nice. Shoulder blades down, scoop the belly, plant the feet well, and then here we go. So as you inhale, right hand to right thigh, left arm reaches up and over. Exhale, left elbow to left thigh, right arm comes over the head. You know the pattern. Legs stay absolutely stable. They don't change at all. Challenge yourself to be like a statue from the waist down. Only the torso and the arms are moving. So much stability coming into those legs. Soften the jaw. Okay, next time you touch Parsvakonasana, next time that left elbow's on the left thigh, right arm's overhead, you pause. Nice, outer right foot pressing, left heel pressing, and then follow the length of that right arm to the right middle finger. Gorgeous. Lengthen your tailbone towards that back right heel. Draw the belly towards the spine. And then let this right arm come down around in front of you. That's what carries you back to Virabhadrasana II, both arms extended. Then turn the head to look back at the right fingertips. Turn the head forward to look at the left fingertips. Gorgeous. Inhale to come to standing. Exhale, hands come to the hips, turn the toes forward. And you might have to heel toe the feet a little closer before you can walk or jump the feet back together. Let's take our blanket now. And we're going to roll it up to use in front of the hips for a forward bend. All right, so I'm rolling the blanket up nice and tight. Taking it right to the tops of the thighs. I'll turn to the side so you can see. Feet can be a little wider than hips distance apart. That's okay. You're going to soften the knees a smidge. Press the blanket into the hip crease. Inhale, lift the torso up, out, and over. Exhale, find your forward bend, trapping that blanket. Knees do not need to be straight here. Oh, some of you might want to play with how far can I straighten the knees before I lose the blanket. Letting the torso go, letting the head go. Might even take the head a little no, a little yes. If having the head below the line of the heart was feeling problematic for any reason, you could absolutely take your elbows to your thighs. Otherwise, you go for it. Beautiful. From here, you could start to bring the hands towards the floor and then bring the knees down, letting that blanket fall, or you could take the blanket out and just come down. We're going to come onto our back bodies, practice our inversion. Got our blocks nearby. Coming to lay all the way back and down. You'll either take one flat block, two flat blocks. You could also take two medium blocks side by each. Coming all the way down. It feels nice to be back on the floor. Press the feet down, lift the hips, slide your blocks underneath your pelvis. Beautiful. And then drawing the elbows to the floor. Press the elbows down to dome the chest, right? We're looking for this structure. Beautiful. Then the arms could come down. I like to take the backs of the hands to the floor so I can strongly roll my upper, outer arms down. Then as you exhale, knees come towards the chest. Inhale, press your feet up towards the sky. Legs are perpendicular to the earth. You're reaching through the backs of the heels, spreading the toes. Outer upper arms still heavy. But the belly here, the abdominal wall, that's relaxed. Soft and pooling. Taking several breaths here. And then just for giggles, let's play with a little bit of variation. So that left foot's going to stay up towards the sky. Inhale, lengthen the right leg. Exhale, lower that right leg any amount. Maybe it comes parallel to the floor. Maybe it's just at an angle. Doesn't matter either way. We're just seeing what happens. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, lift the leg back up. And then we'll do the second side. So right foot stays where it is. Inhale, lengthen the left leg. Exhale, maybe it comes all the way to parallel to the floor. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bring it back up to join the right leg. Pause here. Then exhale, simultaneously bend both knees. Simultaneously bring both feet back to the ground. Press the feet down, lift the hips, take the blocks out, roll down one vertebra at a time. Then as you exhale, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug, a little rocking from side to side. Nice. Hands on the bent knees. Steer the two knees around in a circle, a few times in one direction, a few times in the other. Beautiful. And then feet come to the floor as wide as the mat, arms out in a T shape. Knees go right, head goes left. And then knees go left, head goes right. And then let's repeat that once on each side. So knees go right, head goes left. And then knees go left, head goes right. And then knees and head come to center. Let's set ourselves up for Shavasana. If you lost socks or a sweater or a scarf, now is a good time to put it back on. I'm taking that folded blanket underneath the back of my head, and then I've got my blocks for underneath my upper thighs, right? I take them horizontal and I put them together underneath my thighs to make one long block. Then I can extend the legs one at a time. You could also put a blanket over you, especially if you're feeling chilled. Don't suffer, right? If you're cold, absolutely add warmth. Make sure the blanket underneath the head is pulled all the way to the tops of the shoulders. And then let's stretch the jaw and the mouth and the throat. Open the mouth wide, stick the tongue out as far as it will go. Really, really stretch. Really, really go for it. Stretch, stretch, stretch. And then draw the tongue back into the mouth. Let just the lips come back to touch. Move the chin towards your chest. Lengthen the back of the neck and then let go yourself completely. Let loose yourself completely. Let yourself rest here in stillness and silence, knowing now there's nothing to do. letting one strand of your awareness come back to hear my voice. If you found yourself in a place and you're not ready to move, you're in a sweet Shavasana and you want to stay, I highly recommend you stay. There's no need to do anything else if you've got time and space. Just stay where you are. Others, you're time bound in some way, or you just feel like you're ready to move. And if that's you, I want you to start by deepening the breath. Don't be in a hurry to pop up. Don't be in a hurry to exit so quickly. Instead, find the breath, and then little bits of movement, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. And then as you exhale, draw the knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug. And then slowly, mindfully roll to the right side. Feel the earth beneath you. Feel that quality of structure, of stability. Feel that density. And then use the hands to help. Head is the last to arrive. Eyes remain closed as you come back to a seated position. And one more time, descend the tailbone, lift from the base of the skull, find all the height you can, and then find a little more. Then bring the hands together in front of the heart. Lift the sternum to the base of the thumbs, broaden the collarbones, and on an exhalation, let the chin move forward, let the chin move down. We're bowing to the seat of the soul. We're bowing to that divine inner wellspring of kindness, compassion, patience, and joy. The light in me is deeply honored by your light, grateful for your practice, and humbled by your presence. In case no one's told you yet today, I love you, and I'm convinced of your capacity to continue crafting a life worth living. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. Namaste and Happy New Year. It's the new year.